some very misleading things as well about
but Daisy,
about jobs of the future. Yeah. So go on.
But could I just wanted to cut in and ask you though, if we think about artificial intelligence and as one element of that, automation, right? Automation, artificial intelligence. In the not so distant future, maybe 5 years, maybe 10 years, maybe 20 years, so much that we do now is going to probably be automated. I'll give you a little example. There was a show on Teachers Talk Radio last week, Graham Stanley, on artificial intelligence. And during this show, he demoed writing artificial intelligence writing software where you input a title like Tom's Journey to Work and it writes a story for you, right?
Yeah, I've spent all day, at work. We spent a chunk of the time today playing around with this. So yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, of course, yeah.
Now, my point is that now obviously I understand that the value is in someone being able to do something. I get that. But when we're entering a world where potentially everybody can just cheat, what's the point? I'm being very cynical now, but yes, children, of course, need to know how to read and write because they wouldn't be able to use the artificial intelligence writing generator in the first place, but without knowing what it was asking them to do. But equally, if they said write a story about jelly beans and all they need to do is write the word jelly beans and press return and it writes the story for them, and then they can read that story and then maybe edit it or use it however. Do you know what I'm saying?
I do. And look, I think these are fascinating issues, and I'm fascinated by GPT-3, this AI tool. And I wrote a chunk about this. I wrote my book, Teachers vs. Tech, a couple of years ago about this. And the world moves on very fast, but I still think what I wrote in that holds really true. And this goes back to my point about it's not just about training for a job, it's about being a citizen, it's about being a human being, right? So here's the example I give, okay? Like almost maybe 100, 200 years ago, people had a similar kind of panic around machines being stronger and faster than humans. And there's, I can't remember the exact kind of thing about it now, but there's this, there's even this kind of, folk song around like, when the machine that's chipping away at rock gets better than like the human being doing it. And then people are like, my God, what's going to happen? The machines are better than humans. And in physical terms, for a long time now, we're accustomed to the fact that there are machines that are way more efficient and powerful than humans, right? But does that mean that we say, well, there's no point like, playing football, there's no point running, or there's no point being fit and healthy because, we can just rely on the machine? Like, no, we don't say that because, going for a run or playing a sport or being active and healthy, like that's part of being a human being that we want to do, right? So in a sense, the fact that we've been freed from the economic necessity of this, that's incredibly liberating that we haven't got the economic necessity of it, but, it means we want to do it for human flourishing. And the other analogy I talk about a lot, I talk about the development of like drawing and the camera. So if you go back again a couple of 100 years, Royal Navy cadets, part of their training was to learn to draw. Okay. And the reason they had to learn to draw, it wasn't because they were trying to make them more sensitive and expressive. It was because to be like a good naval officer, you've got to be able to drawing was like a really valuable skill. It had this like economic necessity, right? And that is not true anymore because we've got cameras.
Yeah.
So, that economic necessity of learning to draw has been, taken away by a camera. But does that mean we don't learn to draw? Like, no. Like, if you're going to just define everything in terms of, well, if a computer can do it, we shouldn't do it, that's crazy. And actually, that's not how we live. And another analogy, you can see all these, chess is really similar. So when Kasparov lost to Deep Blue, there were all these people who said, chess is over. No one's going to want to play chess anymore because the computer can win it. Chess actually has had a complete renaissance. And actually, the fact that all the computers now are way better than humans, people still want to have human games of chess. And in fact, they play the games of chess as humans and then they run them through the engine and they think about how they could have got better and the engines help them to learn chess better. So I think we need to get away from this idea. Like, if we are going to move to a world, I'm not convinced it is true we're going to move to the world where the machines, can do everything. But actually, if we do move to that world, in lots of ways, amazing, right? that we remove a lot of these economic necessity. It's a new era of abundance. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. And then education is about human flourishing, right? And it's about what do we need to do as humans to be the best humans we can be.
But
okay, so that would be my point.
My question though would be is that, for example, if I'm a student and I'm 15, 16, 17 years old, and I understand your point about the nature of learning and the joy of learning and the things that can be produced by humans. I get all that. But if I'm a 15-year-old who's maybe not got many opportunities, and my success later on isn't particularly secure in the sense that, you know, I know, or I don't know, but I'm looking at my lessons, my curriculum in school, and I'm going, is this going to help me in 5 years or 10 years or 20 years time? If some of them, you know, for example, let me put out there entrepreneurship, right? Let's say the entrepreneurship, I know we've got business studies, I get that, but I'm saying, you know, let's say that became one. I know I'm not saying it should happen, but I'm saying, let's say it did become one of the core subjects. One of the core subjects on the curriculum was entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And the reason we're doing that is because we're saying that, and sorry about this, Khalil, but we're saying that a lot of, say, for example, the stuff we do in maths will be done by robots. And that's why we're making that change, because the skill of entrepreneurship or ideas generation.
Yeah. So I mean, look, you know, a number of problems with this. Okay, so and I do work like this kind of extensively in Teachers versus Tech. So I'm not just kind of, you know, making this up on the spur of the moment. So we've got two possible worlds, right? We've got world one where the machines are going to take over and do everything, and kind of, you know,
Daisy, if someone just joined this space now, we are actually having a serious conversation.
Yeah. And then we've got world two where actually, you know, that's overhyped, and there's always going to be more of a role for humans in the economy than we think. So, you know, there's two broad kind of worldviews there, and I'd probably lean towards the second, but I'd see the point of the first, and making predictions in this stuff is not easy, right? But my argument is, whichever one of those worldviews you subscribe to, or if you're somewhere in the middle, you still can't have entrepreneurship on the curriculum. Because entrepreneurship is still, in order to have that skill of entrepreneurship, it is still dependent. It's all that stuff I said before about working memory, right? It's still dependent on, I don't know, you know, knowing what compound interest is, which ultimately then is dependent on, you know, your times tables, right? So even if the robots can do loads of things, you know, it goes back to my drawing example, my chess example. Like, robots are better at chess. You know, machines are better at chess. If you want to learn chess, you don't just suddenly default because a computer can play chess for you. You don't just suddenly default and start learning chess at a much higher level. You still have to learn, like, the pawn makes this move, and this is what castling is, and this is the king. You still have to learn the basic moves. So
Hold on, why?
Whatever worldview you are existing on the role of machines in the future economy, entrepreneurship should not be a school subject.
Khalil?
No, I just wondered why. What's your reason for why it can't be a school subject? Because
entrepreneurship is what I said before about skills. I think
because you need the foundations in order to become an entrepreneur.
I love
right. Then why can't you just do it when you're like 16, 17?
So so that's okay. So I love entrepreneurship. I think entrepreneurship is brilliant, right? It goes back to all the things I was saying before about skills. But entrepreneurship rests on domain specific skills. And, you know, at the primary, secondary, even I would say upper secondary level, like, the role is to be acquiring those domain specific skills that are going to enable you to be an entrepreneur. Okay. And I would say, actually, even at university, like, you need some element of what are the kind of actually specific skills, the domain specific knowledge you need to be an entrepreneur. Right. So, and again, being an entrepreneur in one domain is really different from being an entrepreneur in another, right? I used to work on a market stall. My mum and dad ran market stalls all their lives, right? And they used to sell clothes. They used to sell kind of handkerchiefs. I would tell you something. If you're on a stall selling clothes and handkerchiefs, people always joke, don't they? One of my favourite jokes when people say about a politician, they say, oh, you couldn't manage a whelk stall. And I always say, do you know how hard it is to run a whelk stall? Yeah, because fish goes off. So if you're an entrepreneur running a whelk stall and you're an entrepreneur running a clothes stall, that in itself, those are two quite domain specific things. Like, your whole logistics setup